I simply can't go past the sacking of American late night host Jimmy Kimmel. I am genuinely in shock tonight as a country that seems to value free speech thinks it's okay for him to be sacked, especially considering I really am struggling to understand what he said that was a sackable offence. The fact isn't, here's the fact. What he said isn't a sackable offence, but this is the new America. And just so we understand, because I watched the news services tonight and they reported it that he was sacked for these comments. He wasn't sacked for these comments. This has been part of a campaign and they really misconstrued why ABC made the decision they did. So I'm going to take you through all of it, the timeline, so that you actually understand what happened. Here's the part of Kimmel's monologue from Monday night that led to this extraordinary sequence of events.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. There's demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
That sent MAGA into meltdown, basically. And what happened, he's not right. Well, there's claims and counterclaims. So at first, MAGA tried to label this guy as being on the hard left, but before that, he was a known conservative. And it does seem his views have changed, but we won't know. Until the police investigation has happened, until it's all come out in a court of law, we don't know which side of politics he was on. But it actually doesn't matter. So I think Kimmel made a mistake there trying to pin him on MAGA and a conservative hard right. And it's this blame game that's going on. Well, your side killed this person. Your side killed this person. The fact that people are killed is the problem. Now, Kimmel, to give him credit, actually was very sympathetic to the death of Charlie Kirk, and actually did monologues about it. So how did we get here? It's so weird to think that Kimmel lost his job over this, especially when a comment like this on Fox News is deemed fine.
Billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you, or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
Yeah, Brian, why did it have to get to this point?
Right. I would say this. We're not voting for the right people. In North Carolina, wake up.
Jesus. Now, I just asked, how did we get here? Well, let me break it down for you. After the comments went to air on Monday night by Kimmel, I mentioned MAGAland went into meltdown. But here's where it all started ramping up. Brendan Carr, the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, went onto a podcast and issued a chilling threat.
But frankly, when you see stuff like this, I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or, there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead.
That's scary stuff. This is the guy who controls broadcasting licenses. Now, he's very close with Trump, and he is making political decisions. And can I explain why the threat from Carr is very worrying? This is the First Amendment of the US Constitution. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. America takes that and it's constitutional amendments so seriously. This is why the whole cancel culture that's going on there at the moment blows my mind. So, we've had the FCC chairman make that threatening response. And according to the reporting by Oliver Darcy on the Status website, Carr's appearance set off an immediate cascade of events inside ABC. According to people familiar with the matter, the network held a series of emergency meetings to discuss how to respond. Kimmel wanted to address the situation on his program Wednesday night. In fact, I'm told that he had even written a script about how he could respond to the controversy, but ultimately Disney brass wasn't comfortable with it. And then things came to a head when ABC affiliate Nexstar issued a statement saying they would take Kimmel off the air. President of Nexstar's broadcasting division, Andrew Alford, said, Mr. Kimmel's comments about the death of Mr. Kirk are offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse, and we do not believe they reflect the spectrum of opinions, views, or values of the local communities in which we are located. Continuing to give Mr. Kimmel a broadcast platform in the communities we serve is simply not in the public interest at the current time, and we have made the difficult decision to preempt his show in an effort to let cooler heads prevail as we move toward the resumption of respectful, constructive dialogue. Now, Charlie Kirk was all about freedom of political opinion and discussion. His whole podcasting empire was built on those debates that he had. And let's be honest, the issue isn't what Kimmel said about Kirk or the alleged murderer of Kirk. It's about his mockery of Trump and how Trump, when asked about how he was feeling about Kirk, got distracted with his ballroom. So we've had these moments. And then it happened. ABC issued a 7-word statement. Jimmy Kimmel Live will be preempted indefinitely. And as you can imagine, that news was met with glee by President Trump, who posted, "Great news for America. The ratings challenge Jimmy Kimmel show is cancelled. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. Kimmel has zero talent and worse ratings than even Colbert, if that's possible. That leaves Jimmy and Seth, 2 total losers on fake news NBC. Their ratings are also horrible. Do it, NBC. President D-Day-T. Donald J. Trump." There's no doubt the cancellation of Stephen Colbert and now Jimmy Kimmel will be celebrated by conservative voices. But it's dangerous. I don't understand why the president can't just ignore it. But he can't. He watches it all. He takes it all in. And he does not like people who don't like him. I think Disney have a lot to answer for. Now, Nexstar, they are in the middle of trying to acquire more television stations, and so they need FCC approval. So this is seen as capitulation by them. Disney paid off Donald Trump with a frivolous lawsuit when he accused ABC's George Stephanopoulos of defaming him. And so Disney paid the money, and they thought that'd be the end of it. But it's not. Trump will keep going hard. He's put in a $15 billion claim against against the New York Times over reporting that seems factual. He's put a lawsuit in against the Wall Street Journal. Donald Trump tries to hit them where it hurts. And these companies capitulate because they need his government agencies to approve and not make life hard. But when you give in to a bully, they keep coming back. And so because these companies keep kowtowing to him, he's just going to go further and further until everything he dislikes is off the air.
Fun, insightful interviews from a washed-up producer with nothing to lose. McKnight Tonight, McKnight Tonight, McKnight Tonight. It's good night from McKnight.